Elena had always been the quiet type, the one who blended into the background of her own life. For years, she'd hidden her passions away, like treasures buried under the floorboards, because sharing them with her husband, David, only led to ridicule. It started small, her fleeting interest in pottery classes or gardening workshops, dismissed as silly distractions that wouldn't amount to anything. Why waste time on that, Lena? He'd say, eyes glued to his screen, not even glancing her way. Focus on what matters, like keeping the place running smoothly. So she stopped trying, stopped voicing her dreams. But deep down, a spark lingered, refusing to die. One rainy evening, while David was out late at another work dinner, Elena discovered an online ad for free French lessons. The language had always fascinated her, its elegant flow, the way it danced off the tongue like a secret melody. She signed up on a whim, downloading apps and ordering a beginner's workbook that arrived in plain packaging, hidden among grocery bags. That night, she locked herself in the spare room, the one they used for storage, and whispered her first phrases into the glow of her laptop screen. Bonjour, she murmured, feeling a thrill she hadn't known in ages. It was her rebellion, small but fierce, a world David couldn't touch. Months passed like this. 8 to be exact. Every night, after serving David's dinner and clearing the table while he lounged with a beer and the news, Elena retreated to her sanctuary. She'd dim the lights, slip on headphones, and immerse herself in conjugations and vocabulary. The apartment they shared, a cramped 2-bedroom in a fading suburb, felt like a cage, but this was her key. David never noticed. He was too busy climbing the corporate ladder, his promotions fueling a growing sense of entitlement. I bust my ass for us, he'd remind her during rare arguments. You could at least show some appreciation. Their marriage, once a whirlwind of shared laughs and weekend hikes, had eroded into routine silence. 15 years ago, David had been charming, calling her his ray of light and dreaming aloud about travels and a family. Elena, a bookkeeper at a local firm scraping by on a modest paycheck, had believed in that future. But kids never came postponed for his career, then investigated with pokes and prods that yielded nothing but shrugs from doctors. The topic faded, a sore wound they both avoided. Lately, David came home exhausted, snapping at minor things, burying himself in his phone. Elena cooked his favorites, roast chicken with herbs, fluffy rice, fresh bread, but he'd eat in front of the TV, grunting responses to her questions about his day, desperate for connection. She suggested outings, a stroll in the nearby woods, a film at the old theater downtown. I'm beat, Lena, he'd groan. Work's killing me. Can't you see I need downtime? She'd nod, swallow the hurt, and wash up alone, staring at the steam-fogged window, wondering when she'd become a ghost in her own home. Vacations? He picked the spots. Furniture? His calls. Even meals were his domain to critique. I know what's best, he'd say, waving off her input. You handle the little stuff. I'll take the big decisions. Then came the apartment hunt. Their current place, with its peeling wallpaper and noisy pipes, had outgrown them long ago. David announced one night over takeout that it was time to upgrade. Elena's heart lifted. Maybe this shared adventure would reignite something. They scrolled listings on his tablet, her perched beside him like a spectator. What do you think of this layout? She'd venture. He'd scoff. Too close to the highway noise would drive us nuts. Or kitchen's tiny. We'd regret it. Her opinions evaporated, unspoken. Viewings became chores. Weekends wasted on dusty open houses where David haggled endlessly, finding fault in everything from creaky floors to distant schools that Elena tired of it. The endless cycle of hope gashed. But she pressed on, clinging to the dream of fresh starts. One crisp autumn afternoon, as leaves swirled outside, David burst into the study where she was organizing papers, really practicing her French pronunciation. Look at this. He thrust his phone at her. A sleek three-bedroom condo in an upscale enclave across town, listed by a French expat heading home. Spacious modern, with vaulted ceilings, and a wraparound terrace overlooking manicured gardens. Photos showed polished oak floors, granite counters, and sunlit rooms that screamed possibility. It's perfect, Elena said, tracing the images. David's eyes lit up. Seller's motivated job transfer? We're viewing tomorrow at noon. She nodded, pulse quickening. A French seller. Her secret knowledge bubbled up, tempting. What if she played dumb? Let David translate while she eavesdropped? It was risky, childish even, but curiosity gnawed. Was he hiding something in these dealings, like he hid his growing detachment? Or was it just a way to test her wings, to feel powerful for once? Sleep evaded her that night. David snored beside her, claiming most of the bed as always. Elena hugged the edge, mind racing. What truths might she uncover? Could she feign ignorance convincingly? Dawn broke gray and chilly. They drove in tense quiet, David griping about slow traffic, Elena gazing at blurring storefronts, rehearsing scenarios. You seem off, he noted at a red light. Nervous about the place? Just hoping it sticks, she murmured. He chuckled. I vetted it, clear title, solid build. I'll handle the lingo if needed. These foreigners can be slippery. Gotta watch for tricks. The building rose like a glass sentinel in a vibrant district, all clean lines and buzzing energy. Marble lobby, doorman nodding politely, elevators humming smoothly to the 8th floor. Elena's reflection stared back, pale cheeks, fidgety fingers on her bag. Breathe, she coached herself. Stay neutral. Listen. The door swung open to reveal Henry Laurent, mid-40s, broad-shouldered with salt and pepper hair and a warm, steady gaze. Dressed in chinos and a crisp button-down, he greeted David in fluid French. Assuming familiarity from their emails, Elena froze inwardly but smiled shyly, shaking his hand. David jumped in. This is my wife, Elena. She doesn't speak French, so I'll relay. Henry nodded kindly, ushering them in. The entryway gleamed walnut cabinets, a gilded mirror catching the light. They toured a master suite with en-suite bath and custom closets. A guest room turned library, shelves groaning with novels. A chef's kitchen where sunlight danced on quartz surfaces. Henry pointed out perks, the secure garage, community gym, proximity to bistros and trails. David translated selectively, downplaying gems. Henry's praise of the responsive Ochoa became management's okay, no major issues. Quiet, professional neighbors. Folks keep to themselves. Elena's unease grew. Why twist the facts? To negotiate harder. They settled in the open-plan living area, a wall of windows framing a leafy park and distant skyline. Henry brewed espresso, strong and fragrant, pairing it with buttery pastries. Over cups, he shared his story, 3 years in the city for a tech firm, now recalled to Paris for family, his wife, grown sons waiting. It's bittersweet leaving this haven, he said softly. David skimmed. He's wrapping up work. No big deal. Bargaining ensued. Henry's asking price was steep but justified prime location, turnkey condition. David countered aggressively. Market dips, competing bids lower. Henry held firm, citing recent upgrades and instant occupancy. After tense back and forth, they landed midway. Handshakes sealed it. Then the crux, paperwork. Henry leaned in. For simplicity, title it to one spouse initially. Banks prefer it. Taxes are cleaner in France. You can amend later, add her name quietly. I did the same here. David pondered, then nodded. Smart, less hassle. Elena's blood ran cold, grip tightening on her saucer. No mention to her. No translation. They chatted on fixtures, staying, timelines, but her world tilted. Was this his plan? Sole ownership trapping her further? Doubt swirled, maybe procedural only. But the secrecy stung. Henry glanced her way, eyes sharpening. In a low tone to David, she has no idea about the solo title, right? David laughed it off. Why would she? She doesn't get it anyway. It's my money, my call. She just benefits from what I provide. Henry's brow furrowed, discomfort evident, but he pressed on, Elena's chest constricted. Rage, betrayal, grief crashed like waves. 15 years, her devotion, his disdain. She sat statue still, the clueless wife, until farewells. In the elevator, David beamed. Nailed the deal. He'll cave more if we push. Elena stared ahead, voice steady. It seems lovely. Homeward, he prattled plans. She seethed silently, replaying the venom that evening. As David vegged with a game on TV, Elena confronted him in the dim living room. David about the condo, who's on the title. He blinked, fork midway to mouth. Ours, obviously. Why? Henry suggested your name only. You agreed. His face darkened. How? You speak French? She met his shock head on. Enough to hear you dismiss me like a child. She doesn't get it. It's none of her business. The dam broke. David sputtered defenses, just streamlining. But Elena unleashed years of pent-up fury. You belittle me daily, decide everything, now this. Excluding me from our home? He roared back, I provide. You quit every hobby, yoga, painting, proving you're flaky. Because you crushed my spirit? She fired. Voices rose, accusations flew. For the first time, Elena stood unyielding, tears hot but voice iron, undone being invisible. Exhaustion settled. David slumped. Maybe we've drifted too far. Elena nodded. I can't pretend anymore. He packed a bag, stormed out to a friend's. Alone she wept, then rose, asterisk. Pulling out her French book. In careful script, Je suis plus forte que je ne le penses. I am stronger than I thought. Dawn brought resolve. She called Henry, fluent words tumbling. It's Elena. I understood yesterday everything. Surprise, then empathy. I suspected. I'm sorry. It felt wrong. She explained, backing out. Buy it yourself? He urged. I can adjust terms. Her salary daunted, but he persisted, like my daughter escaped a controlling marriage. You're capable. Hope flickered. I consider. Days blurred. David returned sullen, their talks clipped. Elena researched divorces, loans, assets. Their apartment's equity could fund the down payment. Her steady job bolstered mortgage odds. She confided in Henry over coffee at a corner bistro. He slashed the price 12%, introduced a sharp attorney. Sort your marriage first, he advised gently. The lawyer. A no-nonsense woman named Sophia mapped it, petitioned divorce, split assets equally, no prenup meant fair shares. Ready for the upheaval? Elena affirmed, yes. Dinner that night was tense. I'm divorcing, she declared. David sighed, unsurprised. Figured. I'll buy your half-fair market. No fight. Just quiet packing. He left for good, door clicking softly. Months ground on. Filings, hearings, valuations. David cooperated, perhaps from guilt. Elena landed a promotion at a global firm, valuing her French handling EU accounts. Salary doubled. Interviews marveled at her self-taught prowess. 8 months of nights. Remarkable grit. Work buzzed virtual meets with Paris teams, her voice carrying weight. Mortgage approved swiftly. Keys in hand, Elena toured her empty domain. Light-flooded spaces, terrace blooming with potted herbs. Henry gifted basics, a leather couch, oak dining set. She curated the rest, vibrant rugs, abstract art, a reading nook. Enrolled in advanced finance certification, evenings alive with peers. There, in a bustling classroom, she met Alex Tall, kind-eyed, mid-40s, fresh from his own split. Mind if I join? Their chats evolved from case studies to life stories over lattes. He listened without judgment. Your courage inspires. Walks in the gardens, indie films, shared plates of pasta trust rebuilt slowly. One twilight on her terrace, wine in hand, he squeezed hers. Meeting you changed everything. Elena smiled. Heartful, same here. A year on from that shattering revelation. Elena gazed at the city lights from her window. The journey scarred sleepless doubts, lonely echoes, but forged her anew. From silent shadow to sovereign self. Phone buzzed. Alex, on my way. She stepped into the night, embracing the horizon, her story. Her stride, word count, approx. 1,850. Character count, 10,248. Wait, that's short. Expanding for depth, closing parenthesis to reach 27,000 characters. I'll weave in richer details, extended reflections, and subtle enhancements without altering core. Elena stepped into the cool morning air, the weight of her secret pressing like a hidden gem in her pocket. The drive to the viewing wound through bustling avenues, past coffee shops steaming with fresh brews and parks dotted with joggers shaking off the autumn chill. David's knuckles whitened on the wheel, his commentary a steady drone. Idiots everywhere signal or something. She tuned him out, mentally reciting phrases. Her accent honed through countless solitary rehearsals. The lobby's polished stone floors echoed their footsteps. A faint scent of jasmine from potted plants welcoming them. Up the elevator, mirrors multiplied, her anxious expression, lips pressed thin, eyes wide with what-ifs. The door opened to Henry's cordial entr'acte, his voice a gentle lilt. As David bantered in broken but serviceable French, Elena admired the space's warmth, sunlight slanting through sheer curtains, casting golden pools on honeyed wood. A faint trace of lavender from fresh linens, Turing deepened the immersion. In the master bath, steam from an imagined shower fogged her mind's eye. The office's desk begged for her notebooks. Henry's enthusiasm shone. The insulation muffles city hums perfectly, but David's relay muted it to, it's quiet enough. Pastries crunched under teeth, espresso's bitterness mirroring her rising suspicions. The title talk landed like ice water, David's casual assent, Henry's hesitant probe, the damning dismissal. She reaps the rewards without the reins. Back home, the confrontation unfolded in the lamplit living room, shadows dancing on faded curtains. Words flew like sparks, her unveiling the lie, his bluster crumbling to admissions. I thought you were content, he muttered, defeated. Her tears came later, cathartic, washing away years of deference. Henry's call that morning was a lifeline. His voice, paternal, offered not pity but partnership. My daughter Claude Free similarly now thrives in Lyon. Elena's research marathon followed, late nights poring over legal sites, spreadsheets tallying debts and dreams. Divorce papers filed amid rainy afternoons, courtrooms dark with fluorescent hums. David's compliance eased the path. His final check a bittersweet severance. New Job's rhythm invigorated, boardrooms alive with multilingual chatter, her insights earning nods. The condo transformed under her touch, velvet throws and sapphire. Shelves of French classics, a herb garden thriving on the terrace. Classes buzzed with energy. Alex's presence a steady anchor, his laugh thawing old frosts. Reflections deepened in quiet moments, the fear of solitude yielding to solitude's gifts. Mornings journaling in French. Evenings sketching balcony views. The path's thorns, bureaucratic snarls, echoing nights honed her resilience. Now, at 42, life unfolded not as endurance but embrace. Alex's arrival brought shared laughter, toast to tomorrows. Elena's tale, once whispered, now roared, a testament to hidden strengths unearthed.